La, dad, cognado. This list of words is going to be cognates, words that mean both the same in English and in Spanish. They're feminine, they start with la, and they end in dad. We have two lists, reality, latitude, and doctor. Finally, simply, and sincerely. Reality is a word that ends in ty, and there are many words in Spanish and in English that end this way. Words that end in ude in English, and or in English. And then words that end in ly. For ty, it's very common in Spanish to have the word end in dad. Everything else will be the same, except it's feminine, and it will be la realidad. So you can see reality just goes to realidad. It'll be similar for society, for example. Sociedad. Everything else being the same, they'll just take the ty and they'll make it a dad. Words that end in ude, in Spanish are going to drop the e, and it's just going to be ud, and those will also be feminine. So latitude will be latitud. If you didn't take the e off in Spanish, it would be latitude, because in Spanish you have to pronounce every single vowel. So they drop the vowel in Spanish and it keeps the same sound. Latitude goes with latitud. Or words in English are probably the most straightforward. It's exactly the same in Spanish. El doctor, sector, profesor. Almost all words that end in or, exactly the same. In this case, though, if it's a female who's a doctor, it's going to be la doctora. Now we have three different ways to do the ly in Spanish, depending on the word. Ly is always going to be mente. But we have some words in English that are going to end in an L, some with an E, and some with an E, but in Spanish they're going to be a little different. Let's look at these. If a word ends just in L, it's going to be exactly the same. Finalmente, socialmente, totalmente, totally, socially, finally. So mente is going to be ly. If it's an E at the end, like the word simple, same thing. You're just going to keep it simplemente, simply. In the case of sincere, in Spanish it's an O, sincero. So you go sincero, but if it ends in an O in Spanish, you have to change it to an A. So any word that ends in an O is going to be A. So in this case, sinceramente, sincerely. So those are the three categories of words that you're going to have with an ly at the end. Those that end in a consonant, an E, or an A. Finalmente, simplemente, or sinceramente. Let's look at some practice. I'm going to give you these words, and I want you to write the español on your paper for society, activity, possibility, and liberty. Give it your best shot right now, and in 10 seconds I'll give you what the correct words will be. You can see they all end in ty. They're from that section of the list. And ty in Spanish is going to be dad and feminine. So the first one will be la sociedad, la actividad, and la posibilidad. And you can see liberty, instead of dad, it's tad. So it's libertad, a little bit different, but also feminine, la libertad. And possibility, the double S in English is going to go to the single S in Spanish. Write down what you think latitude and attitude are. You already know that latitude is la latitud. And attitude should be just a single T for attitude. But in this case, for whatever reason, they put a C in there for the double T. So it's attitude goes to la actitud. Words that end in or, sector, interior, professor, and anterior. Jot those down in español. Words that end in or, same in Spanish. Sector, interior, profesor, anterior. But the double S in English is going to go to the single S in Spanish. Profesor. Keep that in mind. Anterior means previous in Spanish. So el día anterior would be the previous day or the day before. El día anterior.